Okay, brethren, I want to show you a very short video which is demonstrating, in my opinion, the worst, most evil kind of witchcraft in mind control I have ever experienced. I've actually been talking to you about it for years. The first time I've ever seen it was with Ted Kennedy. I've seen Ted Kennedy using that against some distinguished person that was before Congress, it was before the Senate. Not that they were being indicted, but before the Senate to give information, a legitimate citizen of this country, esteemed citizen of this country of a different political persuasion. And I saw Ted Kennedy talk down to him like he was a child. This is the issue. The people that use this kind of witchcraft, they do not respect your opinion. They come from a mindset that says their opinion is the only opinion. And if you have another opinion, they are right and you are wrong. Your opinion has no value. You don't know what you're talking about. You're ignorant and uneducated and worthless. Your opinion is worthless. That is what's going on in this country today, and I believe all over the Western world. I don't know beyond the Western world. So this is a perfect example of it, and it stirred my heart to see someone not take it. We're going to watch an interview by Don Lemon of CNN, and there are 3 people that he's interviewing, and only one of them seems to, in my opinion, be in their right mind. And the gentleman's name is Don Regino, if I'm pronouncing it properly. He is an ex-CIA agent. He's from Queens, but he's running as congressman in Florida. And he just wouldn't take it. He would not take it off of this talk show host. And the bottom line was, to my absolute amazement, this talk show host, how do I even say this, when he couldn't knock down this tough guy, okay, ex-CIA agent, he turned around and called him a liar. What is the man lying about? He was giving his opinion. He called him a liar. So this is the witchcraft that we're up against. It's in this country and it's in the world today. It's evil. There's no other word for it. Okay? It is spiritual evil being used against people. A lot of people that don't know how to respond to it. I believe a lot of people in Congress that are just stymied by it. That it stings them and they stop functioning as patriots in the country. But this is a young guy, and apparently he knows the technique, and he's coming right back at him. But neither one wins, because neither man would back down. But I think that it's a very positive thing, because I think there are a lot of people that watch CNN that won't watch Fox News, and Fox News has a lot of problems today itself. I get most of my information off of the internet because I stay away from, the reason I stay away from Fox News is that sometimes Fox News has truth. I still watch O'Reilly once in a while. Brethren, I actually enjoy listening to 2 sides of an argument. I would like very much to listen to 2 sides of an argument. It helps me make up my mind, or to form my own creative opinion. What's going on today is that the people, what they say, are on the other side, or the other opinion. It's not really another opinion. It's people with the mind of the beast. It's not a legitimate opinion. It's people that I think are mentally ill. So it doesn't do me any good listening to them. The only thing that it does to me is to upset me. To listen to these crazy people say these things that are absolutely crazy, and then turn around and attack the person in their rational mind, telling them that they're doing what the crazy person is actually doing. So that's why I stay away from Fox News, because I don't want to hear what the other side has to say unless they're a rational person, and they're not rational because their arguments are not rational. You know? So anyway, it's upsetting. This exchange is upsetting, but it's exciting to me to see people standing up to this kind of witchcraft. And also, I think it's very important because there are people who only watch CNN. And I have this hope that there are people watching CNN, and CNN is international. My hope is that there are people watching CNN that is still sound in their mind, brethren. brethren, what's happened in our world recently is that this evil, and it's communist, has come into the universities, and a new, an unofficial aristocracy has risen up in this nation. They call themselves the elites. They're educated, and they're experts on everything, and if you haven't gone to college, you're a jerk, and an idiot, and a child, and you don't know what you're talking about. And that is not true. There are a lot of people that have an innate intelligence. They're very good at what they do. They know about life. They know how to raise children, and they know how to survive in this world, but they haven't gone to college, you know. And these elites, they have cut off this group of people. We'll call them the middle class. Cut them off, treat them like children, and take an authority over them. And it's my hope that these people, these middle class people, these average people, not particularly highly educated, but they know about life, and they have a relationship with Jesus Christ frequently. They have a relationship with righteousness through being Christians. That they are going to look at this and know that there's really something wrong here. That there are people that have something in their hearts that are going to know that there's something wrong here. You don't need a PhD to know that there's something wrong here. You don't need to be a college graduate to know that there's something wrong here. That there's something really wrong coming forth from these TV interviewers that have made themselves God over everybody that doesn't agree with them. And that they're evil. So I am excited, as I hear from several sources, that at least some of the people in this country are starting to wake up. There's a serious problem in the country, and government is evil, not good. And the news media is evil and not good. And right now the news media is doing more damage than our evil government. They're evil. So you're going to watch Don Lemon, an interviewer from CNN, and Don Bongino. I tried to print out the article, the printer wouldn't print. He's in Bongino or Rongino. And listen to this exchange. And listen carefully because it goes back and forth very fast. I'm telling you in advance that, well, let me tell you what the issue is, okay? Donald Trump gives freehand speeches. He does, rather than politicians, they give canned speeches. They read off the teleprompter. They read a speech that's been gone over and over and over and over by their staff, hoping not to say anything controversial. Donald Trump is spontaneous, and therefore sometimes he says things that are controversial or are taken the wrong way. He's not vetted. He's from the heart. I don't want him to stop doing that, but he's really opened himself to these vicious people that would destroy him if they could. So Donald Trump was talking about the Second Amendment rights, and he was saying, if you elect Hillary, she's going to appoint judges to the Supreme Court that will take away your Second Amendment rights. And he said there will be nothing you can do about it. And then as an afterthought, he said, well, maybe the Second Amendment writers could do something about it. I guess he was thinking some kind of political manipulation, whatever he was thinking. And these crazy people have interpreted that to mean that Donald Trump was calling for the assassination of Hillary Clinton. So the interviewer is saying, surely that's what he said. He said any intelligent person would know that Donald Trump called for her assassination. And the man running for Congress, I think both of their names is Don, he said, I'm telling you, I listened to the clip, and they're going to show you the clip. He said, that is just completely ridiculous. And that's my opinion, that it's ridiculous. And Don Lemon turns around and calls him a liar and attacks him for his opinion. And then there were two other men there who are being interviewed, and they're calm, but their mind is sick. All the interviewer and the other two men, they're all saying that Donald Trump called for the assassination of Hillary Clinton. But aside from that, is so ludicrous it shouldn't even be addressed. But the issue, I'm showing you this exchange because I am so excited that people are standing up, but you have to stand up against it. Because this is happening on every level. The Lord started to show me this 20 or more years ago. More than 20 years, close to 30 years ago. 30 years ago the Lord started to show me this, cropping up in the local areas of my own societal experiences. I had never met people like that in my life, who were using words to use that kind of witchcraft, and it used to upset me. I would get upset and I would become indignant, and the Lord told me clearly that that had to stop. It took me a long time to get over it. I no longer get indignant when I hear this kind of thing. When I hear it, I shut down, because I know that if you get into an argument with somebody that's coming from that kind of a spirit, that is a vicious spirit that will cut you to ribbons. They're not reasonable. They don't want truth. They're liars. They want nothing but to cut you down to size, and they will say whatever words are necessary, and you cannot win. So when I see that, I just shut down. You don't argue with someone like that. But this guy, Don Mangino, in his situation, I'm glad that he argued with him, and I hope that it woke up a few people watching CNN. So this is your opportunity to witness this. It's happening on it. When I first started seeing it, it was not happening on the governmental level or on the media level yet. It was just in the local society. And I watched it over these 30 years start to appear in the media and in people speaking for government. And it's a very sad day for this country. Very sad day. But the Lord is rising up to deal with it. It is pure evil. There's no other word for it. Does anyone have a question before I play the clip? Anybody? I'm going to Windows is shutting down. Don't do that. Windows is shutting down.
It shut down and just restarted.
Okay.
While you were
Oh, it did? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why.
And why? Because there's harassment here on
Yes.
every level.
Amen, yes.
What is the? It's
Only?
Okay, I got it. Harassment on every level. I've never seen anything like it. I'm hoping. So you have to call up YouTube all over again. I am just really hoping that things settle down after the book goes to print, because this is just crazy. Whatever I try to do, it's like there's this big boulder in front of me.
There is no doubt, as you've been saying over and over, Don, what Trump was saying here, and it clearly related to violence against Hillary.
Dan, you're disagreeing with Jeffrey?
Don, I'm trying not to break down in laughter. This conversation's almost broken into the comical realm. It's clear what he was suggesting. I mean, he clearly, I had to read through his exact comments in the Washington Post today twice when I was asked to be on the show to try to find out what exactly the controversy was even about.
Okay, let's play it again. Stand by, Dan. Let's play it just in case you're confused. Let's play it again.
No, I'm not confused.
Okay, let's play it.
Hillary wants to essentially abolish the Second Amendment. By the way, and if she gets to pick her judges, nothing you can do, folks. Although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is, I don't know. But
okay, explain to us, people who don't understand, and that you want to laugh at what he meant by that.
Don, the man, I think we all know, is running for President of the United States. He probably has some data that a lot of one-issue voters vote on the Second Amendment issue. It's clear he's trying to motivate people to go out and vote based on the potential for an open Supreme Court seat. How that's clear to you, that was some kind of call to an open revolution and to start firing your weapons at public officials, is utter absurdity.
No one said that, Dan. No one said that. No one said that. And so no one said that. If he wanted people to go out and vote, why not just say, go out and vote, the Supreme Court depends on it.
Listen,
the Second Amendment depends on it. Why say something like that if that's not what he meant? As someone who's running for leader of the free world, shouldn't he be as clear in his words as possible? Go ahead.
Don, do you want me to? I'll answer that question. Listen, we can disagree about how imprudent he worded that, but to suggest that he was calling to violence means to me that you came into this with the idea that Donald Trump was calling to violence. Let me make the case afterwards. You didn't come into this with a clear and open mind. Listen, I endorsed Cruz in the primary campaign. I'm not a Trump surrogate. I'm supporting a...
What you're saying right now makes no sense. I'm sitting at home. I'm watching Donald Trump. I have two ears. I have two ears, and I have two eyes, and I can see the reaction of the people behind me. And we're not stupid. every single person you have on this panel, who are very smart people. David Gergen, who's respected. Hang on, can you let me finish, Dan? David Gergen, who's respected by people on both sides, by Republicans and by Democrats, who've worked for Republicans and Democrats, who has worked for a president who's had an assassination attempt, who's lived through presidents who've been assassinated, knew exactly what Donald Trump is saying, and we're supposed to be stupid enough not to understand that and to believe the spin coming from the surrogates and for people like you. You should be ashamed of yourself.
It doesn't make it, Don, frankly, I'm ashamed that you're talking to me as if I'm a child when 12 years of my life...
No, you're treating me as a child because you're telling me what I'm supposed to hear. And you're sitting here on television lying to the American people.
You don't know crap about this, Don. You're a TV guy. I was a Secret Service agent. Now cut off my mic. Do what you want.
I'm not going to cut off your mic. I'm going to tell you that you're sitting here and you're lying to the American people. You're lying to the American people, and you know that you're lying to the American people.
I'm lying. Right. I read these comments. A couple of people read them.
Don, can we just nonsense? Can we go back to Jeffrey Toobin, please, Don, and his point about that ordinarily in this situation, a Secret Service agent would visit the campaign and talk to the candidate and warn him about the rhetoric like this. Jeffrey, can you jump in here and help us understand that and let Don respond to that?
Right. Obviously, Dan worked for the Secret Service, and I respect that. I worked with the Secret Service when I was an assistant U.S. attorney, when I was an advanced person working for a presidential candidate in 1980. I certainly have less experience than Dan did, but I know how seriously the FBI, the Secret Service takes these issues, and they don't wait around to parse very carefully, is it a threat, is it not a threat, what does it really mean? They are aggressive about these issues, and they reach out, and they don't arrest people necessarily, and there is no grounds, and let me be clear about this, there are no grounds to arrest Donald Trump for what he said, but it is close enough to the edge of a threat, and Dan, I just think you're way off base about this. I think any serious person who listens to this recognizes that this is close to a threat, and it's the kind of thing where the Secret Service says, "Hey, pal, take it easy."
Yeah, it's one of those things where everybody else is crazy, but the person who is wrong. But Dan, you're running for office in Florida. You're running for Congress.
Yes.
So do you support this kind of language, this kind of rhetoric coming from Donald Trump as someone who's running for elected office?
Don, what kind of language? Trying to motivate
Just
Second
answer the
Amendment
question. Do you
voters
support
to
what
go
Donald
out to
Trump
the
said
polls?
today?
That was an answer to the question. Support
Yes or no? Do you
people
support?
have to vote for Donald
Do you
Trump?
support what he said today?
Don, people who believe Second Amendment should absolutely vote against the gun grabber Hillary Clinton, 100%. And whatever you need to say within the realm of reason to motivate people to get out and vote, yes, you should do that because you will lose your
First of all, that's a talking point to call someone a gun grabber. No one is trying to take your guns. That is a talking point.
You're Captain Talking Point. You're like Captain Talking Point, and then you throw it back at me. Your insults.
What's my talking point? Tell me what my talking point is, Dan.
You came into this and you said, listen, this is pretty clear. Donald Trump was implying some kind of a violent act against Mrs. Clinton, which I'm telling you from 12 years of experience doing that.
How is that a talking point? Do you know what a talking point is? A talking point is when you are a political operative and you go on television every single day
Talking point is no one's trying to grab your guns. You just
over
missed
and
the
over and
answer.
over whether it's wrong or not, because you have been fed something by the
I've never
campaign.
said this over and over. You're actually the first person to ask me about it, so I've never said this over and over. That's not a talking point. You asked me a question, I gave you an answer. It's clear to me, and Jeffrey, again, I appreciate your comments, but I disagree with you completely on this. When you take the totality of circumstances, he was not a guy in a bar making these comments. It was a presidential candidate giving a speech where he was talking about the Second Amendment. This isn't even close to the Secret Service would laugh this off if you brought this to their office.
The Secret Service is not laughing it off, by the way, but go ahead, David Gergen.
Time Magazine has a piece out tonight interviewing former Secret Service high up. He said, I would be in there in an instant basically to tell the campaign to cool it. that this is very, well, it's just like it's someone who they went to interview, and he said, this is very close to the edge. The very words Jeffrey Tubin used. And so I think you at least have to agree to the proposition that reasonable people can have a different interpretation of what he said, that it falls on different ears. That's what a dog whistle is all about. Some people hear one thing, some people hear another. And after you've gone out and called her crooked for all this time, basically called her a criminal, ought to be in jail. Your people are always yelling, lock her up. One of your people, said, she ought to be shot for treason. And you have that's one of Trump's people. One of his top supporters says she ought to be shot for treason. When you have that kind of rhetoric of violence, when you have a rhetoric of criminality and violence, and then Donald Trump drops these words into the middle of it, don't you think that some people could reasonably conclude from that, wait a minute, that really sounds like a sort of a subtle call to violence in the event that she wins?
Because David,
don't you understand that some people?
By the way, Dan, there's a Secret Service official Twitter account that says the Secret Service is aware of the comments made earlier this afternoon, and as you said, laughing it off. They're not laughing it off.
They're not laughing. That's exactly right.
Don, I actually talked to Secret Service agents who work on the job still. I work there for
have them call me, but go ahead.
They think this is ridiculous. Now, the point I was going to make is, David, I agree, I see what you're saying, but the same standard of reasonableness, as you're using that word, does not seem to apply when it's Democrats. Not to get off topic here, but when Barack Obama compared Republicans literally to Iranian hardliners and terrorists, I didn't see anyone say, oh my God, we should go after Republicans because they're all terrorists, because Barack Obama said so. So my point in this is, if you come into this with a pre-existing narrative that Trump is calling for violence, you are naturally going to build the case ex post facto. And it doesn't work that way.
Your argument would make sense if it was just Democrats who were coming out saying he meant what he meant. But Jeffrey, I'll give you the last word. Go ahead.
Well, it's just, this is a good example. It's good it's on videotape, because everybody can see it for themselves, and everybody who understands the English language can make a judgment about what Donald Trump was talking about. And I think most reasonable people will listen to what he said and be very...
Do you believe that? Okay, do you believe that, brethren? Do you believe him? If nothing else, do you believe Don Lemon calling him a liar? What did he lie about? He gave his opinion. What did he lie about? So that's what we're up against, and it's pure evil. So I choose to believe that the Lord Jesus Christ is going to save us through the political process. If he doesn't save us through the political process, then the next possibility is not anything that anybody wants. So I believe the Lord is going to save us through the political process. And I just thought I would fill in with that little clip, since we had some time. Does anybody have anything to say? If not, we'll end the meeting now. It's 2 o'clock. Questions, comments, anybody? Yes, Jim?
Yeah, I think that this Don Lemon is really instigating a lot of things also to the people who want to hear it and want to come against, just come against Trump for some reason. And this is, he's given people a reason, a lying reason to say what he said. And a lot of people in the, now I see a lot of them are coming in his own party, in Trump's own party, are coming against him.
Well, that's what Don Lemon said, because he didn't have any answers left for the other Don, so he said, well, it might be true that it was a political talking point, except that Republicans are coming against him too.
Yeah.
But we know the Republican Party is split. We know that. So it's going to take a miracle to get him elected, brethren. I think that if it wasn't for the wicked press, that the populace would elect him. But there are a lot of people that they only listen to CNN. And it's going to take a miracle to get him elected. But I think that the Lord's going to get him elected. If not, the country is finished. And we're going to be run by these wicked people. And there's no, they will finish the job of destroying the middle class, and we will have a new aristocracy. an acknowledged aristocracy and a lower class and no one in the middle. They're destroying the middle class. So anything, that's all. No one else has anything to say. We'll end on time today, which is 2 o'clock. Stay tuned for comments if you would like to give your comments in the next file.